What's going on, guys? It's GVE Mike, and today we're going to talk about the 2023 LA Auto Show. It's one of the biggest auto shows of the year. You have SEMA, you have a bunch of other things that are going on overseas as well, but this one's really huge for LA. LA has a huge car culture. I'm sure you guys might know that already. When it comes to lowriders, JDM, drifting, all that kind of stuff, we got it all. Before we hop in it though, I did record a lot of things on my phone, but the audio for whatever reason cut out and it did not work. So I went around, interviewed a couple people, even gave my opinion on the show so far when it first started, but the audio just didn't come through. So, this is the footage from it, but yeah, it's kind of useless at this point. Okay, to hop straight into it, this year there's a lot of emphasis on electronic cars. Electronic cars are obviously where everything's heading towards. You're gonna see a lot of that in the footage, B-roll, and maybe even some of the things that I'll highlight today. Okay, first things first, Kevin Hart, the entrepreneur that we all know him to be. He's got a lot of things popping off. I saw Fabletics there. I saw his alcohol brand, but he was there for his auto collection. This guy's got crazy taste in cars. He had everything there, Corvettes, Ferraris, Buick Grand National, you name it, he had it there. He had a 1959 Chevrolet Corvette mint condition. The color obviously being mint was amazing. It even said mint condition on the car. To me, it was super dope. I thought that kind of blew me away. The inside of the car was super clean, super slick. You could tell they really put some time into the detailing of the car, even to the marks of the car, on the back of the car, the marks were very intricate. My second favorite was the Ferrari 812. This thing was so nice. It's an older Ferrari, but it's still like a classic. No shade, no diss, but is this car too big for him to drive? I don't know, man, I don't know. He had the 1965 Ford Mustang. This thing was literally sitting right by the front door. As soon as you walked into this whole room with all of his cars laid out, this was one of the first cars you saw, and man, let me tell you, everybody stopped to see this thing. Took your breath away. He definitely kept the classic vintage look, as you guys see here, but he kind of modernized it with little things here and there. Super clean, paint was amazing, leather interior was amazing. Big shout out there for that one. That one was one of those cars I think we all kind of admired that he had. The number one favorite for me was the 1987 Buick Grand National. This thing was, man, when I tell you this thing was immaculate, bro, it was immaculate. This thing was looking super nice. I think it was a little bit lowered. I don't know if it has airbags or not. It's kind of hard for me to get under there and see without people kind of like coming over and trying to hold me back. And definitely one of those cars that I think is timeless. Definitely one of my favorite cars, out of the collection. All right, so after this, I went to the Ford area. Ford had amazing cars, trucks, a lot of electronic trucks. Again, that was the big push this year. What really blew me away was the Mustang Gtd and the Mustang Mach-E. The Mustang Gtd, automatically you walk up and you see this thing and you're like, man, I wish I can get in this thing and drift it, go race it on the streets if you're a street racer. I know y'all out there want to go hit those runs, you know what I'm saying? I think they're definitely appealing to the drifting community. Obviously the Mustang is one of the most popular cars in drifting. Mustangs have always been popular cars in general, but I think now that in different motorsports, the Mustang has kind of come back. You can tell that's more of who they're catering to. The car is rumored to come out in 2025. It is, however, also been noted to be showing up in Le Mans 2024. So keep your eyes peeled there. I'm sure Ford's gonna wanna be having it premiered in the streets and racing events, car events, things like that to continue to show it off. I'm not sure how much the price is gonna be when it drops. People are saying it's gonna be $300,000, who knows? It's also rumored to be a supercharged 5.2 liter V8. So we'll see when it's dropping. We'll see when it actually comes out, but definitely something exciting. I think people are gonna wanna get their hands on it and drive. Okay, the Ford Mustang Mach-E is up next. Now, I know a lot of you guys are like, Mike, that's a SUV, it's electric, the thing kind of trash looking, yada, yada, yada. I actually thought this version was pretty dope. I think it's called the T-Jin or T-Jin version. I'm probably butchering the name, saying it completely wrong. This version of it looked like one of those autocross, like rally cross type of versions. A couple notes about this car. It's been fitted with a wider body, functioning off-road accessories and parts. I think this one's called the Safari Concept. So you can kind of see where they're going. I mean, if we were to redo Jurassic Park and instead of having Jeeps and we had like little whips, like little cars driving through the T-Rex and all that kind of stuff, I know it sounds corny, but I think this would be the car, you know what I mean? It's an interesting concept, interesting idea, and whether they sell it or not, I think it would be something cool to have in like a film or a TV show, maybe even changing the color scheme and things like that, because it is a dope looking car. Like it definitely stands out, catches your eye. I hope I see it somewhere in some movie, you know? All right, the next thing was Mr. Cartoon's 1963 International Ice Cream Truck. Mr. Cartoon, we all know he's one of the most talented, most revered tattoo artists in the world. He's done tattoos for Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Snoop, Amari Stoudemire, Carlos Boozer, and a whole lot more. But he also has brought his art to cars. This ice cream truck is, from what it's reported, rarely ever seen, but considered one of his most prized possessions, one of the best pieces of art he's ever put out there. All right, so as you can see, he has a whole bunch of art on this thing. It's super packed with different characters from cartoons. You got Star Wars art. You have like other characters on there that are embodying lowrider culture, tattoo art, all that kind of stuff. I mean, what doesn't this truck have? It's insane. I got a chance to get close enough to the truck to see the inside, so you can see the leather, steering wheel. There's a TV in there as well. I don't know, there's like it looks like a drum pad, or there's something in there, but man, the guy has done some amazing work with this truck. One of the most fire pieces of art in cars that was at the event. All right, next, let's talk about Toyota. Toyota had the Supra. The Supra is one of the most revered JDM cars you could ever think of, right? It's featured in films. Obviously, American culture just really took this car and took it to another level. Now at this event, we got to check it out, sit inside of it a little bit, got to put our hands on it and feel it. It wasn't like, you know, there's no aftermarket parts really, so it was kind of stock, but it was still great to kind of get inside and check it out. Now, another dope thing Toyota did was they actually brought some fun and games to the LA Auto Show. Now, I'm not used to doing basketball and things like that in a wheelchair. I thought that was cool. So what they did was they had like a court where a basketball court, half court, we all sit inside like a wheelchair, and then we get a basketball and we got to like wheel around the court and try to make shots. Man, that thing was really hard to move around. It was really hard to get used to. So, you know, I can only imagine people who are doing that in such a high level, able to score 30 or 40. You know, I tip my hat to those guys because I was having a hard time, but I was still, you know, I got a couple shots off. You know, I made a couple out there, so I was doing my thing. But it was really fun. They had skateboards. They had a couple other games as well. So I'll put some footage here so you guys can check it out. All right, next is Nissan. Nissan had the 2024 Z. To be honest, I like how they put it, you know, at the booth. I like how they structured it next to a GTR, or I should say underneath a GTR. But to be 1000%, like the body style, the way that it looks, I'm not a huge fan of it. Like it low-key looks like a Mustang, especially the Mustang Gtd. Like it kind of has that same rear end on it. Maybe even like a, you know, 2021, 2020 Mustang. It kind of has that look on the rear of it, you know. But I love that they're still bringing the car back. The Z is just, you know, a classic all the way back to the 70s, right? So the Z, it was definitely out there. People were waiting in line. They were trying to sit inside, take photos, take videos. Definitely a popular car. So hopefully somebody makes body kits that really help it stand out a lot more on the streets, and it really takes over like, you know, it's been doing for years. So Nissan, you guys had some dope stuff. All right, next I stopped by Lexus. Everybody was stopping to check out the Lexus LC 500. You know how it is when everybody's kind of like in line checking something out. You just want to be nosy and see what's going on over there. So, you know, I went over there to check it out. It's a dope car. You know, honestly, I like the luxurious look of it. It's very sleek. But, you know, I wasn't really like taken aback when I sat in it. I was really trying to understand like what was the appeal of it, right? People were walking around saying, oh, it's $150,000. I think it's quoted for like $90,000, which is still not cheap, right? But I don't know, I wasn't really blown away as like everybody else who was walking away from it. So I don't know if people were just, if it was all cap, if they were just like, yo, oh, it's fire, and everyone's looking at each other doing the same thing that they're doing. But I didn't really see the crazy appeal that people had there. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm tripping. Also, unpopular opinion, but is the LC and the LFA kind of similar? I think the LC is at like 400 horsepower or something like that, and the LFA is at like 5 something. I could be way wrong, way off. That's where I was like, man, I would just, if I'm gonna spend that much money, I might as well get the LFA, but I don't really know how much the LFA costs off top, so I could be way off on pricing and everything, but that was just my mind. Okay, sorry, I just had to go Google real quick the pricing, and yeah, the LFA price is definitely up there. It's all the way up. So I get why people were kind of like excited about the LC, because maybe it's an accessible version of that car, you know? But yeah, man, that price, they're hitting you over the head with that LFA, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so I got to stop by the Honda booth and the Subaru booth. These are like honorable mentions, really. I think everything else that I wanted to see or that I got blown away by, I showed already. But the Honda Prelude, I think it's supposed to come out 2025, 2026. I was definitely impressed by the Prelude. There was some conversation that it's going to be powered by a hybrid engine, so similar to the CR-V hybrid and the 2025 Honda Civic hybrid. I think it's going to compete with smaller sports cars, so like the Miata, the GR86. But yeah, I'm very curious to know what you guys think, if you guys are into it, if you guys are excited about it. There's again not a lot of information because it is kind of far out, so yeah, just drop some comments on what you guys think about it. Subaru was an honorable mention, just like Honda Prelude and all that stuff. I have to mention it because Subaru had this like experience. It was kind of crazy. It was like a forest, like national park kind of vibe. They had some trees in there, obviously all fake. And then they had this like LED floor, which like moved in a stage, and they wheeled, like using this crazy hidden door, they wheeled a car out of the stage. There was like confetti, and the confetti lit up almost like fireflies kind of, but it was like green lights. They did a lot of work to like give you that wow factor as an event goer. Sadly, it was the Forester. It's not the WRX or nothing crazy off-road. The Forester is a really popular car, I would imagine, amongst families and amongst people who like driving off-road, but you know, they want more safety and something with more room for all their stuff. So I just tip my hat to the activation. It was a really dope experience. And that was pretty much it, man. I mean, I went downstairs. If you ever gone to the LA Auto Show, they have like, you know, low riders. They have like lowered and customized sports cars, Ferraris, BMWs, JDM stuff. They have like little merchants with booths that are selling candles and posters and all that. So great place to go if you want to like find parts for your cars, or you want to network with other people who are in the car community. So I went down there and got to check out some cars. This is my second year. I went last year, and there was a big emphasis on the Porsche, the GT3, I think it was. So that was pretty dope. And I never really had been to a car, you know, convention experience. I've been to Beamer Invasion, been to a couple other car things like that. But this one, you know, definitely was different. Really appreciated the experience. So hopefully I go again next year. You guys had a good time checking out this video. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, all those things. These videos take a while to make, so appreciate the support. All right, guys, so one last thing. I'm dropping all of this footage, B-roll, little clips and shorts on my car channel. So I'll drop that below in the description for you guys to go check that channel out and just look at pure car stuff. So yeah, enjoy it. Thanks again for watching.